See how when you get to the LA Times, it immediately becomes entertainment news, and it's so less fun. Okay, LA Times. Mudslides hit burn zone. Ah! Oh no! We're talking about the mudslides that come with the rains after the fires. The double whammy. That's part of our world. Hannah Fry, 10 a.m. This is moments ago. 6 minutes ago. Heavy rain that pounded the Southland early Thursday unleashed mud and debris flows in Malibu, forcing the closure of a scenic stretch of PACH Pacific Coast Highway, and causing a Southwest Airlines plane to skid on the runway at Burbank Airport. No one was hurt in the airplane mishap, and officials said the plane rolled off the end of the runway at Burbank, guys. The deluge of precipitation prompted the National Weather Service to issue a flash flood warning through at least 10:45 this morning in Los Angeles and Ventura counties in the areas that were devastated by the Woolsey and Hill fires. Pacific Coast Highway remains closed from Bush Drive to the Ventura County line after mud has flowed onto the roadway there. Mudslides also forced officials to close Encino Canyon Road between Pacific Coast Highway and PCH1 and the 101. So Encino Canyon is closed if you want to go out to the ocean that way. Debris also briefly closed Canyon Road. Wow, big one. But I guess that one's rolling again. Crews are working to clear the mud, water, and rocks. Yikes. Mudslides, folks. Welcome, viewers. This is the AntiClimactic NonShow. We've just done an hour of programming. We're in the second hour. This is kind of a more free-form hour where we take suggestions for topics. There's mudslides in Los Angeles as rains have followed the fires there. A Southwest Airlines flight skidded off the runway, apparently, in Burbank. Let's take a look at... Have we looked at the Washington Post today? Although I'm boycotting the Post because of what they've done to their employees. Maybe I'll do a story about that. They call Meng Zhenhuo, the arrested Huawei executive, they call her the successor to her father's tech empire in the Post. Interesting. William Barr emerges as leading candidate for Trump's attorney general. That's 15 minutes old. Wow. So crazy. So when you do this process, you look at the LA Times, then you go click, and you bounce to the Washington Post. And the two cultures are so radically different that in the mind you have to really start reflecting differently as you read as well, I would say. Former Attorney General William P. Barr is President Trump's leading candidate to be nominated to lead the Justice Department. A choice that could be made in coming days as the agency presses forward with a probe of Russian interference in the 2016 election, according to multiple people familiar with the deliberations. Barr, 68, a well-respected Republican lawyer who served as Attorney General from 1991 to 1993 under then-President George H.W. Bush, the late, has emerged as a favorite candidate of a number of Trump administration officials, including senior lawyers in the White House counsel's office. Two people familiar with the discussion said the president has told advisors in recent days that he plans to nominate Barr. That's interesting. One person familiar with the discussions cautioned that while Barr is the leading candidate, the decision is not final. The president could pick someone else. Yeah, sure he could. He could just wake up and decide to pick whoever he wants. That's the problem with having a nutbag slumlord in the White House. Another person familiar with the discussion said Barr is, quote, a really serious contender and possibly the front runner for the job, but stressed it was impossible to predict Trump's pick definitively until it was announced publicly. These are anonymous sources going to Post reporters, Washington Post reporters, and they're like, so it's going to be Barr. Don't say I said it's going to be Barr because Trump might do anything. The volatility and disconnect between him and everybody around him, you can just see in a blurb about who the next attorney general is going to be. Barr himself declined to comment. Those familiar with the discussion said Barr, having already been Attorney General, doesn't feel a particular ambition for the position, but does feel a sense of duty to take it if offered. Alternate candidate is Representative John Ratcliffe, a conservative whose support of the president won his attention. I'm not going to get into all this. You can read about it in the Washington Post. Devlin Barrett, Matt Zopotosky, and Josh Dawsey are credited with our byline for that piece. there's going to be a pre-Christmas shutdown fight in Congress. Oh, here we go. Christopher Carl Wilde has sent me something to take a look at. I'm going to hit the show button on it, too. Thank you, Christopher. Brazil President Jair... how do you pronounce Jair Bolsonaro's first name? Jair? 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 No, it's got to be J because it's Portuguese. It wouldn't be H. So Jair Bolsonaro. Very first thing we do before going on the radio, when I used to have the radio. So now the staff comes to me, well, Christopher, you're not staff, but we want to do a story about this. And I'm like, okay, great. Well, then go look up the pronunciation. Very first thing you have to do. You don't do the story without knowing how to pronounce the person's name. That makes you seem like an idiot. Right? No. And usually in the newsroom you have a sheet or a wall or a link to a site where all the current news has the names of people that people are talking about. You know what I mean? So let's take a look at this. How to pronounce Jair. Jair. That's from Colombia, though. We should put in the name of his last name as well. Jair. Is it Jair? Why is this not... I'm sorry this is taking so long, Christopher, but I can't figure out how to pronounce Jair Bolsonaro's name. And I want to know because I'm going to have to know sooner or later, right? Should we use a YouTube page for that? I suppose that's a better way. How to pronounce Jair Bolsonaro.
Jair. Jair.
Jair. Should I just say it that way every single time? Let's return to the piece that Christopher has brought to us. Brazil President-elect Jair Bolsonaro vows to move the Israel embassy to Jerusalem. Here we go. Alistair Jameson, writing in MSNBC, it looks like. Brazil's far-right president-elect Jair Bolsonaro has reaffirmed a plan to move his country's embassy in Israel to Jerusalem, following in the path of his political idol, President Donald Trump. The former army captain announced the switch alongside other major shifts in domestic and foreign policy on Thursday as he set about staffing his new administration. He easily won Sunday's presidential race, overcoming his leftist opponent with a vow to kneecap violent drug gangs and end years of political graft. Bolsonaro, 46, has expressed admiration for Trump and appears poised to follow his example with a number of policies, including withdrawing his country, home to the lion's share of the Amazon rainforest, from the Paris Climate Accord. Oh, great. He has also frequently bashed China, Brazil's largest foreign investor, and vowed to scrap or renegotiate trade treaties, including the South American Common Market, Mercosur. Wow. The broad brushes of his plans have diplomats, political analysts, and former government officials warning that such moves could isolate the regional powerhouse instead of opening new markets, which Bolsonaro has said he wants to do by enacting widespread privatization of state industries. He convinced crusading anti-graft judge Sergio Moro to become his justice minister, delighting supporters and enraging critics by hiring the jurist who jailed Bolsonaro's chief political rival. Wow. A deeply polarizing figure at home, Bolsonaro has also ruffled feathers abroad. He called refugees fleeing to Europe, quote, human waste, unquote. But there was an enthusiastic response from Israeli President Benjamin Netanyahu, whose house is built on the Green Line. I praise my friend, the incoming Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro, for his intention to move Brazil's embassy to Jerusalem, Netanyahu said Thursday in a statement. So there you go. Bolsonaro, wow, right-wing hardcore guy in Brazil. Excuse me. Thank you, Christopher. I did not know And moving these places to Jerusalem is just the worst possible thing. You know, the whole problem, and, we have this poster here made by Franz Krauss in 1936, before Israel existed. This print, which I bought in Jerusalem. And at the moment, that is all I'm going to say. Visit Jerusalem. Don't put your embassy there.